Welcome to the Extraordinary Everyday Podcast, where women come to be inspired and motivated to become the best version of themselves and elevate the quality of their everyday. Now, here's your host, certified life coach, Wendy Johnson.
Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome to the Extraordinary Everyday. I hope you're doing great. I am doing fabulous. I had my cousin and her kids down for a long weekend, and I hung out at the hotel and pool with them and took a little staycation myself, just a mile down the road. We're having really warm weather, so I think the winter is officially over here. Anyway, I want to share with you today's episode. It's all about self-trust and confidence, two things that shape the way we move through life. Have you ever second-guessed yourself, looked to others for validation, or struggled to make decisions because you didn't trust yourself? If so, you're not alone. In this episode, we'll talk about why we struggle with self-trust, why it's essential to trust yourself before you can fully trust others, and actionable steps to strengthen that trust in yourself. By the end, you'll walk away with tools to build confidence and make decisions with clarity. So let's dive in. Many of us don't trust ourselves, but have you ever wondered why? What I want to do is share some common reasons. One could be past mistakes and failures. When we make mistakes, we tend to internalize them as personal failures rather than learning experiences. The more we dwell on past failures, the harder it becomes to believe we can make good decisions in the future. Instead of seeing mistakes as proof that we are untrustworthy, we need to start viewing them as opportunities for growth. As we do that, we begin making wiser decisions. Another reason is external criticism and judgment. If you've ever been told you're wrong or not good enough in the past, you may have learned to doubt yourself. The opinions of others, parents, teachers, and our friends can leave a lasting imprint, making us feel like we're incapable of making the right choices. Learning to separate the external opinions from your inner truth is the crucial step to developing trust within yourself. Another reason is perfectionism. The belief that you have to get everything right the first time can lead to decision paralysis. If you're constantly afraid of making the wrong move, you may avoid making decisions altogether. Trusting yourself means accepting that mistakes are part of the learning process and that taking imperfect action is better than no action at all. Also, over-relying on external validation. If you're always seeking approval from others, you're not developing the muscle of self-trust. Whether it's asking friends what to do in every situation or needing constant reassurance, relying on others for validation keeps you from strengthening your own inner voice. The more you trust yourself, the less you'll feel the need to look outward for other people's opinions. Hand up here. I know firsthand how hard it can be to trust yourself. When I was building my first business, I constantly second-guessed my decisions. Instead of relying on my own gut feelings, I kept asking others for opinions, hoping they would confirm what I was thinking. I wanted that reassurance that I was making the right choices. The problem was the more I was looking for approval from others, the more disconnected I felt from myself. At one point, I followed advice that didn't align with my vision, and it ended up not feeling like it was my business. Looking back, I realized I already knew what I needed to do. I just didn't trust myself enough to follow through. That experience taught me that no one else knows what's best for me better than I do. I had to start listening to my own voice and take ownership of my decisions. And the more I did that, the more confident I became. Another reason to not trust ourselves is fear of making the wrong choice. The anxiety of a failure can lead to chronic decisiveness. You might think, what if I made a mistake? What if this decision leads to regret? But the truth is, no decision is perfect, and every choice teaches us something valuable. What we do here is learn to embrace uncertainty. That is the true key to building self-trust. And I'll give you one more reason: feeling uncomfortable spending time alone. Many people struggle with self-trust because they avoid sitting with their own thoughts. Instead of looking inward for answers, they keep themselves busy with distractions, constantly working, seeking entertainment, or relying on others for guidance. When we are afraid to be alone with our thoughts, we miss the opportunity to connect with our intuition. To develop self-trust means to learn to be comfortable with yourself, understanding your own desires and needs without outside input. I had a number of friends in my younger years who struggled with this, being alone. Think of a time when you ignored your gut feeling, only to later realize it was right. This is a sign that self-trust is already inside you. It just needs to be nurtured. Now I want to talk about why self-trust comes first. Self-trust isn't just about making decisions. It's the basis for everything: your confidence, your relationships, and your ability to handle the uncertainties in life. If you don't trust yourself, trusting others becomes difficult because you'll constantly seek reassurance instead of standing firm with what you believe in. You might let others' opinions override your own inner wisdom, and that leads to choices that don't align with your values. Also, you may struggle with setting boundaries because you're unsure of what you truly want or need. Let me give you an example. Someone who lacks self-trust may end up in unhealthy relationships or jobs because they believe others know what's best for them. A lot of young people are doing what their parents wanted them to do and what they thought was right. When you trust yourself, you make decisions with confidence. You feel more at ease in your relationships, and you learn to rely on your inner voice rather than the external noise of other people. How to build self-trust? Let's start with making small decisions for yourself. You can start by making small, low-risk decisions without seeking input from others. Instead of asking your roommate or your partner, what should I wear today? What should I wear for our date? Or what should I eat? Trust yourself to decide. For years, I asked everybody at the table while dining out what everybody else was having to give me ideas because I couldn't make a decision on what I was going to eat. I now make quick decisions. The more you practice making decisions, the more confident you'll become in your ability to choose your own decisions wisely and trust them. Second, you want to listen to your intuition. Your intuition is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. You want to pay attention to gut feelings and those nudges that guide you. Start journaling or reflecting on moments when your intuition was right and begin to honor those feelings. Over time, this will reinforce your ability to trust yourself. And third, keep promises to yourself. This is a biggie. Self-trust is built by following through on commitments, no matter how small. If you say you're going to wake up early for a morning walk, keep that commitment with yourself. Honor it. Because each time you follow through, you send a message to yourself that you are reliable and capable. When you break promises to yourself, that weakens your self-trust, making it harder to believe in yourself over time. Fourth, you want to reframe mistakes as learning experiences. Instead of seeing mistakes as proof of I'm incompetent, view them as stepping stones to growing. You can shift your mindset from I failed to I learned something valuable. You can keep a journal of mistakes and write down what you learned from each one. This helps rewire your brain to see setbacks as progress rather than failure. Let me give you an example. Each day, I write down in my success log what I did well, successfully, what I learned, and what I want to let go of. And fifth, you want to have a self-trust journal exercise. Each day, write down decisions you made and how they turned out. Reflect on moments where you trusted yourself and what the outcome was. Over time, as you practice this, it will help you see patterns in your decision making and reinforce the belief that you can rely on yourself. What helped me in making decisions when I was dining out was looking at the menu before I arrived. I pulled the menu up on my phone and I decide what I'm eating before I go to the restaurant. I still do this. I feel more present with the people I'm with when I've already pre-made a decision without asking others what they're eating. Self-trust is a muscle. It strengthens the more you use it. Here's a challenge. This week, make one decision without seeking external validation and reflect on how it felt. You have everything you need inside you, your intuition, your wisdom, and your ability to choose what's best for you. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend or DM me your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. I appreciate you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in to The Extraordinary Every Day. If you found this episode helpful, consider subscribing and leaving a review. It helps more people like you find the show. See you next time, friends. And remember, trust yourself because you are wiser than you think. I hope you all have a beautiful week, and I'll see you next week, friends. Bye-bye. Hey, if you enjoy listening to this podcast, you have to come check out More You, my community of like-minded women. We show up to create the highest version of ourselves and elevate the quality of our everyday along the way. Head over to ontraclifecoaching.com/join. That's ontraclifecoaching.com/join. I'd love to see you in there. And if you haven't grabbed your copy of the Mindset Makeover, Head over to ontracklifecoaching.com/makeover and get a copy that teaches and inspires you to show up as your most extraordinary self.